Hi there, and welcome to Straight Talk for Real Life, produced by Hewlett Packard Enterprise. It's an understatement to say that the past few months have been one of the strangest times of our lives. We never dreamed that something like COVID-19 could happen, and yet many of us were directly affected, or we know friends and family members who were. But now we're on a journey, moving toward a new and, yes, admittedly different future. In this special, shorter than normal episode, we'll share some practical tips for getting your life back into gear as we step out into the new post-pandemic world. Hi, I'm Bob Peacock. Welcome to Straight Talk for Real Life. Think about all the changes that have happened since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak. It's mind-boggling, the way we've worked together, yet apart, in this strange new world of social distancing, wearing face masks that fog up our glasses, and washing our hands like surgeons. It's become our new way of life. We've learned to avoid crowds, opting to use technology instead, to connect with friends and family, and to order things we needed. And we've turned our homes into a single place of work life, fellowship, and education. My guest on this special episode is Coffey from Optum EAP. Liam is in the UK and has worked as a counselor for over 15 years. He spent 2 years lecturing on psychotherapy and counseling at West London University, and today he is clinical manager at Optum, responsible for coaching and training Optum's clinical team in the UK. He also is the clinical lead for critical incident response for Optum's global clients. Liam, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here.
The COVID-19 pandemic is something that none of us had ever experienced. As we start to think about re-entering the office, what do you think this experience has taught us?
Well, first of all, Bob, I think it's taught us a great deal about humans and human nature, how we normally interact with society, our work colleagues, friends and family, and how we've managed during this time of self-quarantine and social distancing. The phenomenal response and resilience society in general has shown on a global basis is really quite impressive. We have taken the challenge. People have abided by the government directives. We've found ways of working from home. We've found ways to look after and support our children while school closures are going on. We've supported them through online conference education, all of this in a time of self-quarantine and social distancing. So I think that we've learned an awful lot about ourselves as individuals and as a society, and I think it's a really positive thing for us to acknowledge.
COVID-19 really attacked various segments of the population quite differently. For example, seniors are at a higher risk, particularly those in senior care centers. Just weeks before COVID-19 spread around the world, my own father died. So my mother had to cope with both loss and loneliness at the same time when family members couldn't be there to provide the support that she needed. Many people actually lost one or both parents to COVID-19. Many lost a spouse or a partner, friend or neighbor. What would you say to these people?
First of all, Bob, please allow me to offer my condolences for your personal loss.
Thanks, Liam.
It's been a particularly difficult time, in times where funerals cannot be attended, and the social distancing guidelines have made it very difficult for families to really support each other during these tragic times. There's some few basic points that I think that we can all gain from being slightly more aware of within ourselves and our immediate family. The first thing to look at is sleep patterns, regularity, how well you are sleeping, or if it is disturbed. It's about raising one's awareness and about your daily activities. It's also about being very conscious of are your food intake changed at all? Is it as regular as it used to be? Are you eating different things? Do you notice yourself comfort eating? what we're looking for are little indicators of stresses, anxiety. So if you're noticing any of these differences, it is time really to seek support. We strongly encourage people to utilize the EAP services. I know this is not easy for everyone to do, but we would strongly encourage it because it's so much easier to bounce these personal sort of concerns off another professional who then can provide you with the appropriate strategies, techniques to really fit in a bespoke manner your own personal concerns. But what we want to do is try and reassure people that these are highly experienced clinicians. They are extremely empathic and understanding, and will spend a great deal of time with you on a personal level to understand your needs and offer you the resources for those needs.
How about those with children? What are some tips that you could give people who have children who are either experiencing stress about going back to school, about going to summer camp, or parents so that they can help themselves cope with stress so that they can then help their kids?
It's a really interesting question, Bob. With the closure of schools, this has put additional pressure on families, both for working parents, maintaining school education via video conferencing and the like, but also trying to maintain a working life themselves within the same household. This has put a great deal of pressure on many family units. One of the best ways, and a lot of researchers have backed this up recently, to combat stress is that whole health concept. That is mental health, physical health, and the combination of the two. Exercise is a fantastic way of dispelling excess energy and reducing stress and anxiety levels. If you can incorporate a routine of exercise during these times, it'll have a significant difference. The relationships that we have with our own children is that our kids pick up those indicators of stress from parents very intuitively and quickly. They don't necessarily consciously know what's going on, but they feel it. So the less stress and the more calmly we approach them, the calmer they are. So again, I would emphasize the importance of either contacting your EAP to gain outside support, or start looking at raising your own self-awareness, health regimes, sleep, eating, and exercise as the three main points to encouraging that health.
Okay, let's talk about couples. A lot of couples learned a lot about relationships during the crisis. Life in lockdown has meant a lot more closeness, a lot more constant contact for families and partners, while social distancing isolated us from going out to see friends and to do things. I've seen several reports that even showed a spike in divorce rates during the pandemic. Talk about couples and the strain that the pandemic has caused on those relationships.
Absolutely, Bob. As you quite rightly pointed out, these are in some ways very unnatural times for us with this self-quarantine, and put additional pressure on relationships. Our counselors and psychotherapists are very well versed in skills around communication, how to empathize, how to work together as a productive, healthy unit. Our counselors are very, very used to working with relational issues in a wide variety of settings. Unfortunately, through the last 3 months, we have seen a rise in issues such as domestic violence, a rise in divorce. What our counsellors will work with either in a singles or a couples fashion is to help generate and enhance those healthier approaches to each other in these difficult times.
What are some tips that can help build those relationships again?
Relationships are all about healthy communication. If you have healthy communication, you tend to have healthy relationships. What we found in these times of self-quarantine is it's put a strain on many of us in keeping that healthy communication alive. It really requires an additional focus ourselves and our partners to keep that momentum going, and to acknowledge and to sit down and talk openly and transparently that these are unusual times. This is a very difficult period for many people, and the more open and the more you can talk about that with each other, the more likely you are to find healthy solutions to your particular problems with relationships.
And it's not all bad news. Another study that I was reading found that positive outcomes have also emerged from this, such as strengthened relationships with family and friends. More than 60% of respondents to this survey said that they care more about their family members' feelings after the health crisis, and they felt an increased drive to focus on mental health. So I would think that that would be a real positive step so they can get the help that they do need.
It's a really good point you raise, and we've noticed this in the EAP. Every cloud has a silver lining, and for many families and individuals, this has been a time where they have made extra effort to have teleconferencing meetings with family, friends, and they found themselves giving a little bit of extra effort into keeping those lines of communication and friendships open. And because of the self-quarantine, ironically, it has actually boosted some of those things for people. So it's been a very mixed bag of experiences for people. Some people suffer from isolation, and some people have actually gained benefit from this and really taken the challenge on and made the effort to make more contact with friends and family. So yes, it's a mixed bag, Bob.
So let's finally talk about singles. Until there is a widely available vaccine, how can singles re-enter the dating world? Talk about how the pandemic affects their social life and how they can move forward.
Of course, it's very different now to the traditional way that people would meet in terms of socializing. If I could share a very nice story that I've recently heard, that one of my colleagues is talking about her daughter in the last 9 weeks of being fairly self-isolated and literally only going out for the bare essentials, had struck up a relationship online, and that ironically they found that the not actually meeting had given them a more in-depth sense of getting to know each other. They'd shared watching films together, they did quizzes together, and enjoyed a lot more time in relaxed communication, which seemed to take some of the pressures of traditional socializing out of the equation. And for some, it has been quite a positive. That's not to say that some people aren't going to struggle. And again, we would look at the resources that are available to you in these times. It's all about staying safe, healthy, and respectful of other people's health as well. So it's acknowledging the times and using the resources that are open to you.
Liam, what should I expect if I were to call the EAP? What would that experience be like?
Sure, Bob. I'll talk you through that experience. It is simply picking up a phone, dialing the number provided by your organization to contact your EAP. That call will be answered by one of our service representatives who will just spend a couple of minutes taking some basic information, contact information and so forth, in order to set you up a case. They will then warm transfer you to the department you want. And for HPE employees, they have a fantastic benefits package that offers a wide range of services through this EAP. And it addresses a wide range of concerns and can assist with them. Things that would affect people on a daily basis, strengthening relationships, concern and care for parents or elderly members of the family, and just managing their own high stress and anxiety. Just some of the examples that counselling through the EAP can provide. I think it's good at this point also to highlight the services available to all EAP employees is not just counselling and emotional support. It consists of management consultations specifically aimed at managers, dealing with their own teams and as they prepare to re-enter the workplace, the associated stresses and anxiety that may come along with that. The typical topics of hygiene protocols, wearing the mask, as you mentioned, Bob, but also, how to maintain that social distancing in a safe and responsible manner. Our trained counsellors are experts in this field, and they will offer a full range of ad hoc consultations and can arrange for structured sessions, telephonic sessions, set up on a weekly basis to not only support them, but to offer coaching and guidance as well. The other services available to, apart from managers, is for the employees themselves with these topics. But there's also a range of services such as financial advice. There's also a legal line to help people with legal concerns and questions as well. I think it's really important to say that this service is not just for the HPE employees themselves, but for their families as well. This is at no cost to HPE employees. This is a benefit provided by their organization, and it's as simple as that, Bob. Once that consultation is concluded, you will be offered a certain range of services for you to choose from, whichever suits you or your family.
Such a valuable service. Liam, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Bob.
I'm stating the obvious when I say the COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives. Some of the changes we've made have been positive, and we should hold on to those. And perhaps each of us needs to look at the less healthy habits we picked up during the pandemic and address those as well. The good news is that you're not alone. If you're experiencing depression, anxiety, or fears that you can't seem to shake, or you've become too dependent on alcohol or drugs during the pandemic, help is just a phone call away at the Employee Assistance Program. The EAP is just one of many great resources that HPE offers to all team members and their families. If you're outside the U.S., look for those resources on the Global Wellness page on HPE Insider. And if you're in the U.S., you'll find them on HPE Wellness. Our thanks once again to Liam Coffey from Optum EAP. And thank you for listening in. Until next time, take care of yourself. Let's talk again soon.